Hi, and good evening. Tonight we're going to make a 20-minute pasta sauce. My mother got this recipe when she was on a cruise to Alaska, and I've been making this for probably about 15 years. It's a great recipe to use in the summer when you have a lot of extra tomatoes. This time of the year, not so much because tomatoes are high in price. I don't like to use the canned tomatoes unless I have to. So I'm going to cut up 6 tomatoes about this size. I'm going to show you how I cut them up so they're the same size. Cut them down and then cut them a half and then come down on them like this. All right, and while I'm cutting up the tomatoes, we're going to put our pan on probably about a medium to a medium high with a 1/4 cup of olive oil. And we'll let that heat up. So while that's heating up, I'm going to get, the tomatoes are all set. I'm gonna just wipe down the board, and then I will get the garlic chopped, because the garlic will go in before the tomatoes do, because we want to get a little bit of a brown on the garlic, but not burnt. So this is the garlic. Just give it a smash and just take the skin off of it. This is our garlic, so it's from our garden this year, so we've got quite a bit of garlic to use up, so we use a lot of garlic. You just get the other ones done. Yeah, usually a good smash just does it. I don't like to use a garlic press if I can help it. I'd rather do it just minced up myself. Oops. The thing with the fresh garlic from your garden is it's a lot harder to get the skins off of it, so. But the smell on your fingers is amazing. Okay. So we're gonna take this, and I'm just gonna give it a nice chop. The garlic is just about ready. I mean, the oil is just about ready. And I'm also going to add, which we'll cut up while the garlic is cooking, I have some fresh basil, about a cup of fresh basil, and we're gonna dice that up, and then about a 1/2 cup of parsley. And then I'm gonna use about a teaspoon of oregano, and then a teaspoon of salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. We'll get to that in a minute. Today I'm going to be making, instead of using pasta noodles, I'm going to use a zoodle, which I use quite often, which I make my own zucchini noodles. I'll show you how to do that while the pasta sauce is cooking. So let me the oil is just about ready. And I will put the garlic in. So it's a medium-high heat. We're going to put the garlic right into the pan. And we're going to let that just get a little bit brown, not really brown, just like a light golden color. I'll let you know when it's to the point where I'm going to add the rest of the stuff in. It's just going to take a couple minutes. So while that's doing that, I'm going to take my basil and roll it up into a tight ball, as tight as I can get it, and I'm going to chiffonade. So when you chiffonade, you just roll it all up tight and just cut through it. Oh, if you could smell this right now, ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, and then the parsley, I took off all the long stalks because I don't like the stalks in my sauce. So I took the long stalks and I'm taking those off. And I'll do the same thing roughly with that I did with the basil, except you can't get that as tight as you can the basil. Okay, and like I said, this is about a 20-minute sauce. Let me just cut that last piece of basil up. 20-minute sauce, and it goes great with just plain pasta. It goes with spaghetti squash. It goes with meatballs, and I'm just going to give that like a fine chop. I can hear the garlic behind me starting to sizzle. If my cameraman wants to take a picture of that, he can scooch around. can get a picture of that. I can hear it sizzling. See how it sizzles like that? And you don't want it to burn, so about another 5, well, maybe 10 seconds, I'm going to add in the tomatoes. You want to make sure your tomatoes are on the right side. You don't want to have them be too firm, because then you don't get a lot of juice out of it. All right, I don't want, there you go. Then I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to put in my teaspoon of salt, and Himalayan salt again, my black peppers, my oregano. Well, I'll just have to take it out of this. So that was about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of oregano. It depends on how much you like. And then my herbs. I'm just going to put that all in there. Give it a nice stir. Make sure everything's incorporated. Okay, there we go. And then we turn it down to like a medium-low and let it cook for 20 minutes. While that's cooking, I'm going to show you how to do the zucchini noodles. I took the ends off the zucchini. This is a zoodler, I think it's called, for making my zucchini noodles. You can also buy them in the store, or you can make pasta, whichever works for you. But as you can see, it just goes through there, and and it makes the noodles. So you have the noodles to make yourself. And then what I'll do is I'll cook these in water for probably about 3 to 4 minutes, salted water, mind you. So it'll be like a zucchini noodle. If you want to make them a little smaller, you can cut them in half with a knife, because they're hard to pick up sometimes. But this is how we make the zoodles. But like I said, you can always purchase them too. All the stores are carrying them now. If you want, you can use a butternut squash, whatever you prefer. Okay, let me just hold off on this for a second. I'm going to go stir my sauce. All right, so I'll get this all done, and then we'll be back in about, well, maybe a couple of minutes, and we should be ready to put this whole thing together for you. See you in a few. We're back. Here's my zucchini noodles, which I cooked in salted water, and then I drained them really well. They cooked about 3.5 to 4 minutes. The pasta sauce, as you can see, is cooked down to the texture I like it. That smells amazing. So what I'll do is I just usually take the pasta sauce and put it on top. I like a lot of sauce, only on my pasta or my stuff like that. And then a nice bit of fresh Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And there you go. Your simple 20-minute sauce. Enjoy. Bon appetit.